Temisa Omaseye was a former Director General at NEMASA, the agency responsible for safety in the business of maritime in Nigeria. But you know, those folks are cousins to the guys who fly in the air. So whether you're in the air or you're in the sea, you need safety, and safety goes along with. So the discussion will be about setting agenda for those areas of our economy. Good morning. Thank you very much, sir, for coming.
Good morning.
We appreciate your time. This is the end of the year, and you folks have a lot to do. Yes. So we appreciate everyone with this time who trying to join us here on the program. Yes. Talk to us about this story. Must be a little bit unsettling for you. You in the maritime industry, then you heard about the aviation, that we have adulterated fuel and things like that. I'm sure even in the world of maritime, the kind of fuel that ships use and vessels, let me put it that way, use are also very important, because if you use adulterated fuel, you don't want ships sinking.
Yes, exactly. Well, it's a very unfortunate story, and I find it very unfortunate in the sense that I believe that the challenge we face in Nigeria is that we have not taken control of the logistics of actually bringing in this product into Nigeria. Right now, a majority of our products are being transshipped from Lome because of the funny CBN policy, and they're being brought straight in, and they have to be discharged because nobody wants to be charged on a demurrage. We are proposing to government a situation whereby we can standardize the quality of petroleum products that come into Nigeria. And what this does is basically we set up an offshore storage whereby every product that comes in is actually monitored and is actually standardized. And based on that, we can slowly begin to release those products into the Nigerian market. But what we have right now is a situation whereby products are being lifted from Lome, because that's where the mother vessels are sitting right now. They're being brought in on the daughter vessels into Nigeria and taken straight into the depot, and from there being lifted into the airports. And there's no means of controlling this. I'm sure DPR is a means of control, but I believe with an offshore storage, whereby this cargo actually loaded into the storage and discharged into the storage, then we can have a bit more control and thereby standardize the product. Because right now, products are coming from different refineries all over the world, and they have their own specification. So what you can do with the offshore storage is to bring them in, create a kind of a blending facility, and also thereby standardize them. With this, you have a better control of your market, you have control of your logistics and your pricing and the product coming to Nigeria. But right now, it's free for all, and we need to begin to take charge of our logistics movements.
What you're talking about, would that be part of the comprehensive restructuring of the entire oil and gas business or industry in Nigeria?
Yes, there has to be a total restructuring. Right now, unfortunately, in Nigeria, we have not appreciated what the maritime sector and the aviation sector means to us. These sectors are being controlled by total foreigners, and what we fail to realize is the amount of excess dollars, well, I say foreign exchange, which is actually leaving the economy, because these are things, because we don't see them, we don't appreciate the cost. You take, for instance, a vessel bringing in cargo into Nigeria, and it's being brought to by a foreign owner. Naturally, he takes his money abroad, pays his rent over there, and takes care of his economy over there. Now you take the issue of the aviation industry. Right now we have shortage of dollars right now. Most of the airlines coming in, we're paying them in Naira, but they're having to take their dollars abroad. So if we begin to sit back in Nigeria and begin to think about, we need to set up a national carrier for the maritime sector, and also a national carrier also for the aviation sector.
Very important
point.
On
the basis of that, we can begin to retain our cash flow into Nigeria here.
Very important point. From the days of NNSL and the days of NUL, Nigeria Unity Line, I'm not sure if many Nigerians remember those days. So we had no flags in the air, on the skies, nor on
the land, on the waters.
On the waters.
We don't have anything.
What are you proposing?
What I propose basically right now is that it's going to be a private sector driven thing. I don't think government should get involved in this. My thinking basically is that there's a possibility for us to begin to set up a vessel leasing and financing company, which will acquire vessels and bareboat charter those vessels for a national carrier. Now, right now, you take a situation of NNPC. NNPC are selling all their products on FOB. Now, basically what that means is that everybody comes in and picks up the product. We don't appreciate the amount of dollar we're paying for the freight rate. That's about $3 million or $4 million going on freight rate, leaving the economy. It's not leaving because we don't see it, because it's being paid by the guy who's chartering the vessel. But you can imagine a situation whereby NNPC is selling on a CNF basis, and on the basis of that, that cargo is being carried by Nigerian flag vessels, and that money comes back into the Nigerian economy. Similar thing with the aviation. If I buy my ticket right now, I'm paid in Naira. And if it's CBN supporting that money remains in Nigeria. So we need to begin to look at those aspects of how things are going. You take the issue of mother vessels and daughter vessels. Those are the kind of areas where money is slipping because the insurance is going out. The manpower itself is terrible because you take, for instance, now an agency like NIMASA that is training a lot of seafarers. And basically, on the train of seafarers right now, these guys cannot even come back and get on board any vessel because they don't have their certificate of competency because they have to do that a sea time on board a vessel. Now, Nigeria is the only oil-producing country that does not carry a drop of crude on any of its national vessel. Now, Angola, that picked up most of the policies that they have for their oil and maritime sector, got those policies from Nigeria, and already they have their own VLCCs carrying their crude for them. We're not saying this is not rocket science. This is something that can happen and can happen very quickly, and it can happen in a very short space of time. But we need to have the political will. I'll give you an example. A country like Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a landlocked country, but Ethiopia has 16 vessels. Now, what did happen? During the Gulf of Aden, when they attacked, the pirate attacks.
The Somalian pirates.
Somalian pirates. The international agencies increased their freight rate to about 1,000 or 2,000%. But guess what? The Ethiopians were able to maintain their price at a certain level, and the international companies were forced to bring them down. Nigeria is a country we are being placed on war risk right now. Our cargoes are being carried by foreign people, so they determine our freight rate. So I'll give you another quick one. Sorry for stepping in. Recently, we talked about Nigeria, and we had the ban on 133
I was just about to ask the question.
Yes, we had the ban on 133 tankers. Now, what happened on that one? Those 133 tankers were banned. The tanker business is being controlled, 3,000 tankers are being controlled by about 100 people. They're not very many of them that control the business.
No, it's very small club around the world.
So, when the price of crude dropped, these guys went along and said they're not going to come and pick up Nigerian crude anymore. So what happened? The freight rate of Nigerian crude increased, which made our crude uncompetitive. Now, because we did not have our own carriers, we could not step in to maintain our price status. We need to start thinking about what we need to do about our economy. And those are the things. The maritime sector and the aviation sectors are areas I believe this government takes it on board. We're going to create manpower. Guess what? If we get our airline industries, our C checks and our D checks can be brought to Nigeria because we're going to have more aircrafts here. If we bring more vessels into Nigeria, our maritime, our dock facilities will be taken care of there in Nigeria.
It's very amazing that a country like Ethiopia, you talk about the ocean, the vessels they have on the sea, there's also now the largest airline in Africa.
Incredible.
Pushing South African Airways out of
it's
number one
incredible.
position. So the Ethiopians are there on the sea, they are also there in the sky.
Yes, and that is incredible.
That's a country that has no single drop of oil.
It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I was in Addis Ababa in July, and I got to the airport, and they had 4 flights flying to Nigeria. They had one going to Kanu, one going to Enugu, one going to Abuja, going to Lagos, all at the same time, and they were full. I'm hearing now they're bringing a Freightliner into Enugu Airport. It is incredible. And look, we're sitting here. We call ourselves the giant of Africa, and everybody else is running away, and we're just sitting, watching them nicely from the sideline.
And we're battling very simple issues like adulterated fuel into aircraft. Again, there are angst around in Europe right now that some foreign airlines that refueled in Nigeria got their engines damaged. Rolls-Royce, one of them, who's talked about some of these issues and the NCA. So it looks like we're battling very little issues when we could have just get it solved.
I've had an experience on that airline thing. One of the things I did before I became DG NIMASA, I was also an engineer, which is pipeline engineering and pipeline maintenance. And one of the challenges we faced was the issue of the pipeline. The pipeline network, even within the airport, is a challenge. It's a challenge because they had some leakages, they could not discover it. We had to bring guys from South Africa to discover and cover that thing. And also we need to begin to think about it. Do we need to do the trucking? Why can't we start thinking of a situation whereby even if we have the tank farm, Lagos, Apapa, it's not very far from the international airport. Why can't we find a solution of piping this project and securing it and making sure it comes in? With that, we can begin to guarantee the quality. I do agree, it's scary.
Not quite a long distance. Even if you do underground pipeline,
that is it.
Because the back end of the Papa jetty there to the international airport wasn't such a long distance. You just go through Festac Town, around there, you follow, and then you're at the airport.
GasLink laid a gas pipeline around Lagos. Nobody blinked an eyelid, and it's running around Lagos. So why can't we have an aviation pipeline that runs the pipe straight in, and then from the aviation fuel,
so we can secure the integrity
and
the quality of the aviation fuel that we distribute into into India. Quite a very interesting scenario. So who are you engaging with these thoughts? Are they just sitting down in your head?
Well,
Are you talking to President Buhari? Or you're sitting down with Kashiko, Dr. Ibe, the head of the NNPC?
Well,
or who are you talking to?
Well, right now we're talking to ourselves right now.
It's nice to have the conversation, from here. So we're teeing it up from here.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
exactly. Let's hope somebody's listening anyway.
Yeah, well, there's enough a lot of folks are listening. Join us on social media at Channels TV. Our social media handle at Biz Morning, and of course, this is Nigeria's news leader. There is no better place to have those thoughts expressed than right here on Channels Television, Nigeria's nighttime TV station of the year. Mr. Masaya, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
We'll keep the conversation. We'll bring you back sometime to talk about the issues, more specifically in the maritime industry. The issues with the dock workers, they're not getting paid all the time, and with the MPA and the issues with the privatization and issues within that sector. We need to talk about it in the days ahead. Thanks for flagging this up for us.
Thank you very much.
And do you have seatbelts on a ship? I've never boarded a ship before.
No, you have to have your life jackets.
Life jackets. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Your coveralls and your life jackets, and that keeps you safe.
Thank you very much.
You're very
I
welcome.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll be back after the break. We'll go back to the markets. It's a pre-open for today's session. Let's get talking.